Hello all, I am heading out today to get my eyelash extensions put back on. So let me tell you the saga of my eyelashes. Ooh, I do not look cute. So for 10 years everything was fine. She and her husband moved to Florida. Was it last summer? Gosh, it feels like an eternity ago. And I'm on the hunt for now another lash stylist. So this has been, well, it was last spring. So this has been going on now for quite some time. So turns out the number one indicator of a good lash stylist is the price. This is something that you get what you pay for. So if a lash stylist is saying, oh, I'm going to do your lashes and I'm only going to charge you, there's somebody in the background, and since he didn't give me permission to film, I'm not going to do that too. So, you get what you pay for. So the big problem was the $30 and the $15 ones. What I was getting was doll lashes. So these are basically synthetic plastic lashes. The thing that I'm still not sure about is how they got them glued to my eyes. And given the fact that the way that they had to strip the lashes in the second salon makes me think that they were using hair glue. That can blind you. So there's that. Secondly, there's the hygiene factor. Not just in the application of the lash extensions, but in the wearing of the lash extensions, there is a hygiene factor. Much like with fake nails, you have to take extra care to make sure that you're being hygienic with the lash extensions. So if you're getting them put on and straight out of the gate, your stylist is not cleaning their hands properly, you're setting yourself up for an eye infection. I'll tell you the saga of all the different types of people I found to do my lashes but that's a whole nother video, and I'll do another video about it if you guys want to hear it. And what I decided, because there's different price points, there's different services, there's different ways of charging for the lashes, and all of them affect the final out product. So, but going forward, I want lashes. There are days I don't wear makeup because I work out of the house. There are days I get fully glammed up because I am out. And I kind of like where I don't look like a fool in either one of them, because you cannot wear mascara when you've got eyelash extensions on. So if you go too natural, what ends up happening is you look fine when you don't have makeup on, but if you wear a good decent amount of makeup, you can't wear eyelash strip lashes, you can't wear clusters, you can't add fake eyelashes to the eyelash extensions, and you can't wear mascara. So there's no way for you to beef them up if you've gone too natural. Conversely, if you don't wear makeup every day, but you get the fully glammed volume up to your eyebrows, you are going to literally look like you put strip lashes on and then decided you were done doing your makeup for the day, and that was as far as you're going to get. So I wanted something of a medium balance where I didn't necessarily need to look like I didn't have anything on my eyes when I didn't have makeup on, but I also didn't want to look like I didn't have anything on my eyes when I was fully made up. So we ended up deciding on a hybrid. With the hybrids, it's a combination of the natural lashes and the volume lashes, which are the really dramatic ones. And so what I found with those is when the volume lashes fall out, which a volume lash is one lash that has other lashes glued onto it. Like, I think it's 2 to 3 lashes. When they fall out, they leave a gap. I don't like that gap. I think what we've hit on now is good. It's a hybrid. And then she offers a mini fill, and I think I'm going to get mini fills every week. So I can't stand when they start to fall out. I literally cannot stand it. Here's some things I learned, because one of the reasons why I loved Dawana was she educated me. Arrive to your appointment with your eyes with no makeup on, because this is point 2. Oil-based products of any kind and I'm going to break it down for you in a minute, of any kind are the enemy of lash extensions and good retention. So let's just think about that for a minute, because right off the bat, you have a list of products in your mind, and I guarantee you are not even coming close to the full list. So you've got your lotions and your creams, absolutely. You've got to also consider the facial soap you use, which probably has oil in it. Toner may have oil in it. You would actually be really surprised at the number of products you put on your face, skincare wise, that have some sort of oil in them that is going to cause the glue to break down. And when that happens, your lashes are going to fall out. The thing that most people forget about, okay, so the cleanser, your toner, and any lotions, is they forget their makeup. Nearly all makeup has oil in it. So that's not just your foundations, your concealers. That is your mascara, your eyeliner, and in some cases, your powders and your eyeshadows. So you need to be really, really careful about what you put on your face, because all of that works against the glue to break it down. So what you want to do prior to getting lash extensions, you don't want to wait until you've already got them to start this process. You want to scope out some eyeliner and mascara specifically made for people with lash extensions. Now, I use it on my bottom lashes because obviously you cannot use it on your top lashes. If that's where they do a lot, some places do offer lash extensions on your lower lashes. I wouldn't even bother with those. They fall out too easy. But you can't wear mascara on the lashes themselves. So, but I use it on my lower lashes because I don't want it touching my lash extensions. So you want to think about that. I also avoid cream-based eyeshadows. I'm fortunate in that I don't need a primer because I don't have oily eyelids, and my eye makeup tends to stay where it is, so I just don't use a primer. But if you do need a primer, you're going to want to be really careful around the lash line. Concealer, I have to be really careful with because honestly, they don't make an oily-free concealer. So I do use products made for oily skin on my eyes, but that only takes you so far because I hate to break it to you, it's got oil in it. The other thing that I did was I invested in a good quality lash bath. Now, a lot of people recommend, including lash technicians of all things, baby shampoo. Baby shampoo has oil in it. Don't use baby shampoo. Don't use antibacterial soap like Dial because oil. Also bad for your eyes and your eyes, the skin around your eyes. So really invest in a good quality lash bath. And I'll link all the products I use, my eyeliner, my mascara, my lash bath. I'll link all of that down below. I do use an antibacterial lash bath because I want to make really sure that my hygiene is really good. You do not want to get an eye infection. You cannot wipe your eyes. So no rubbing, no cotton, no nothing on these eyes. So they are kind of hard to get used to in the beginning because, of course, you forget. And you know that feeling at the end of the day when you've been wearing strip lashes or clusters and you just get to rip all that crap off your face? Yeah, you don't get to do that with lash extensions. So there is a period of time where you kind of go a little stir crazy with the lash extensions. But you do want to think about that. Now, if you don't want to change anything, by all means don't. But if you're struggling with good retention, you might be using something. You might want to start swapping stuff out. The other thing is, and this is somewhat counterintuitive, you have to brush your lashes. A lot of people seem to think that if I don't brush the lashes, they won't fall out. The problem is they do fall out. That's what lashes do. They grow out, they fall out, you shed them, and you're good to go. With lash extensions, if you're not brushing those shedded lashes off your lashes, they grind against the glue and they break the glue down. So you'll actually shed more lashes faster. You want to brush your lashes. Now, I have a spoolie that I use when I get ready in the morning, and then I carry a disposable spoolie around with me. Dewana sold me a retractable spoolie, which I will try to find and link below. If I can find it, I'm going to order one for my purse. Your initial appointment is going to take roughly 2 hours, assuming your lash extension has experience. Your lash extension stylist has experience. Fills can take anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. Minis, if they do mini fills, can take 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. So it is a time investment. You do have to take extra time with your hygiene, and you do have to buy products at home. I tried to get away with it for a little while, and I just shed way too much. And so I started switching stuff over. The good news is, though, it's just eye products. You can still continue with your normal routine around, and it's just the lash line. Like, you can still, you can up to the bone, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, is fine. You don't need to just all the way, your eye, you just need to be careful, be smart. Lashes permanently damage your lash extensions, permanently damage your natural lashes. That is not true. Much like acrylics, a well done lash extension will not cause your lashes to permanently fall out. What you may have is, like acrylics, your lashes are shorter. That's an easy fix. Like when you take your acrylics off, your nails are kind of weaker. That's an easy fix. You shed the weak lashes, your normal lashes grow back. Easy peasy. Now, where you can get into trouble, if you have a bad lash extension stylist, you don't want the lashes to be too heavy. You don't want them to crisscross. You don't want them to do some other stuff that really boils down to whether or not your lash stylist knows what they're doing. So you can see mine are short, but I've got a good amount of them. They're just short. So let's see if I can get a better picture. So you can see. Alrighty, so I guess that's it, and I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I'm back from my lash appointment. Doing this in a parking lot is always so weird, because for some reason, right up until the moment I hit the video record button, I don't even think about other people in the parking lot. The minute I hit that button, the minute I'm like, oh my gosh, people are staring at me. Okay, so this is my lashes. And you can see they're pretty full. I really like this. So these are hybrids. So that means they are a mix of volume lashes and what they call classics or natural lashes. So the difference is classics are one extension per lash. Volume lashes are 2 to 3 extensions that are connected together and then glued onto your lash. So they're a mix of the two, which I really like. That seems to me to be a really good balance between me with makeup and me without makeup. So I feel pretty comfortable without it. And I feel like I don't need more when I'm made up. Although I didn't before either, but I like these. Okay, so the aftercare. Can't get it wet for 24 hours. That includes water, sweat, rain, any of the rest of that. The reason is it affects how the glue bonds to the lash, and it can cause the glue to crystallize on your eyelash. Secondly, you want to make sure you wash your lashes twice a day with a good antibacterial lash bath. And as I said earlier, I will link the one that I use below. You want to avoid oil, which I already told you about, and that includes in your makeup, which is where most people drop the ball. You also want to make sure you brush your lashes at least once a day, but preferably 2 or 3 times a day. And you just generally want to keep your hands off of them. Not washing them and not brushing them in no way helps you retain them longer. Like, I cannot stress that enough. There are a lot of people out there who get lash extensions who believe that by not doing either one, they are somehow prolonging the inevitable, but you're just actually making it worse. Your own body has oil on it. So if you're not washing the oil off your face and off your eyelids and getting rid of that makeup, you are contributing to the breakdown of the glue. It is really, really easy to blame the lash technician for your lack of retention. So be really, really careful about that, because it is more than likely, and there are exceptions to the rule, not the lash stylist's fault that you're not retaining, because there's probably a hidden culprit. And a good example of this would be sleeping with a humidifier. It doesn't have oil in it. You've waited your 24 hours. Shouldn't make a difference. It will absolutely cause your lashes not to hang around. So if you thought that that was not a problem, and then you weren't getting good retention, and so you blamed your lash stylist for the problem, and then it came out that you were using a humidifier. I don't know why I'm blanking so hard. Then you can see why that would be your fault. So really communicate with your lash stylist. Which brings me to the second point. If you book a fill, like let's say you book a 2-week fill, and you know at 2 weeks your lashes are a disaster, communicate this with your lash stylist. Either send them pictures, send them a text, send them a smoke signal, but do something to communicate with them that your lashes are not where you thought they would be at the 2-week mark or the 3-week mark or whatever. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First is, if she needs to reschedule you, she can, or he can. If your stylist can maybe give you as much time as you've booked and have you come in for a shorter service in a day or 2, she can do that too. So you just want to communicate. What you don't want to do is book a fill, show up completely bald, and then be upset because you booked a certain type of appointment and she's not able to get you completely back up to snuff within that appointment. So communicate with your lash stylist. Also communicate any issues you had. So for instance, if you could feel a lash, you want to communicate that. You should not feel these at all. So generally speaking, if you can feel them or they itch, it's because they're on your skin in some way. So you want to communicate that with your stylist. Communicate. So let's talk about pricing. So a full set can run you upwards of $200. And that really just depends on the area. It can cost more than that. I wouldn't say it's going to cost you any less than $150 for the good ones. Now, there are a few ways that stylists price their services. One is by time in between the fills. So I saw you 2 weeks ago. I'm going to see you this week, and I'm going to see you 2 weeks from now. So that's a 2-week fill. A 3-week fill would be 3 weeks apart. And then usually a stylist who price that way, everything after 3 weeks is a full set. Doesn't matter what you get done, that's what you get charged. It has everything to do with the timing of your appointments. That's the easiest one to understand. The second way that they price is really confusing to me because I just don't get it. It is not customized, and I suspect that a huge amount of these people's customers walk out sometimes with a less than stellar product. And this is where they charge you by time frame, and within that time frame you are going to get X number of lashes. So this is where they'll say things like, you're coming in for a 2-week fill, that gets you an hour, which is 75 to 100 lashes. So the problem with that is the people that price this way stop when they hit 100. So that means if you had an extra sheddy week where you shed a lot, I hope that has not been irritating the whole time. If you have an extra sheddy week where you shed a lot and she's only going to give you 100, you're walking out of there with your 100 lashes. I mean, you're not getting anything more than what you paid for. I don't like that pricing, so I don't go to stylists to price that way. Now, if you get then there's the classics, hybrid, and volume. Classics are going to be the least expensive, hybrids are somewhere in the middle, and volumes are by far and away the most expensive. Other than that, I pay, well, today I paid $175 for a full set, or $145 for a full set, $145 for a full set. And then fills are going to run me roughly $75. And that's what this girl charges. That's what my last lash stylist charged as well. So pretty on par. Where you get into a gray area is the ones that aren't charging $30, in which case you should run. Or they're not as expensive as the stylists, like my previous stylist and my current stylist. So in my town, a stylist in this area would charge $75 for a full set, $40, $50 for a fill, a 2-week fill. They're doing a combination. So you're not getting an extension on every single lash. And they are stopping the appointment, done or not, at a certain time. I don't like that either, because I like a full set of lashes. I like them to not look like I'm getting fills, like I'm in between fills. I really work hard to make sure my lashes tend to look kind of on point all the time. But it is an alternative. So, you know, it really does come down, because I've actually known people who've gotten extensions, and in between fills, they don't seem to really care what their lashes look like. They tend to get them done for the weekend, and they just want them to look good for that one weekend, and how they look the rest of the time is how they look. I don't know. I'm not like that. Some people's regular lashes look bad enough that whatever they get looks better. So again, they don't really care. Some people pick and choose based on their own personal schedule. There is a time commitment involved in lashes. So, and I mentioned that earlier, you kind of have to acclimate yourself to the fact that a full set's going to run you 2 hours. And that's assuming that your lash stylist is quick. If they're learning, they haven't had the experience that a quick lash stylist would have, you can look at several hours of work. It is a meticulous, the lash stylists that I go to that are in that price range, they're very meticulous. Every lash is getting some sort of attention. So, you know, you got to look at it that way. You have a lot of eyelashes. So it is what it is. But like I said, I will link products down below. I will link my lash stylist down below in case you guys are in the area or you want to check her out. I will also, Dewana is in Florida. She is currently working on her reciprocity agreement with her license. When she's up and running, I will update my links below to reflect her link as well. If you're in the Orlando, Florida area, cannot recommend her highly enough. You guys got a gem. I'm jealous. Let me put it that way. I want her back. She's my friend, and my lashes looked really good when I had her, and I have withdrawal. Anyway, I will post this video, and then there will be a part 2 when I go back for my mini next week, so that you guys can see what I look like before fill. I get filled every week. With a mini fill, they're not very long and they're less expensive. This is the first time I'm going for those. So I will tell you the length of that appointment as well as the cost for that appointment. So you guys can go one more time. This is what I look like, so you guys can see. Oh, much improved. Alrighty, talk to you later.